I have this friend who's one of those you name it, he's done it people, who from personal development through to business success has changed the lives of millions of people. I've got a bit of a difficult relationship with this person because they're the same age as me. You know those people who are annoyingly inspiring? Can I get like a nod? You know, those people who are really annoyingly, maybe you're sat next to them so you can't raise your hand, but those really annoyingly inspiring people, well, that describes my friend to a T. In fact, that describes my friend to a T, an E, and a D. Because, of course, my friend is Ted. And I do not watch TED Talks anymore. And I'm going to tell you why I don't watch TED Talks. Quite simply, I can't. It's bad for my health. You see, every TED Talk I watch, I have the overwhelming urge, because I'm so inspired, to do the thing that the speaker talks about. Which leaves you understanding how I feel right now, given that I've just, today, I'm inspired by this session to be a futurist, suffragette, beachcombing, environmental superstar, physician, undead, poet. Now, it started all well enough in 2008, indeed, when I watched my first TED Talk. I lost my TED virginity to Joe Pine, talking about what consumers want and the power of the experience economy. And this idea changed my life. And I decided it was all about how you could create engaging experiences. And I decided to go from my work with inner city kids and now apply the learnings that I'd gathered here and take that into the business world and tell them how they could create engaging experiences with their communities. Absolutely fantastic. And it kind of worked, and I thought, hey, let's try it again with TED Roulette. And so then I hit up Majora Carter talking about her work in the ghetto, unfortunately praising the virtues of how inspiring it is to work with inner city children. I just switched from that. Well, not to be deterred, I decided to hit TED up again. And I should mention, by the way, at this point, that I had gone from my natural proclivity towards introversion and reflection and quiet to learning the skills of extroversion and being in the spotlight and promoting myself like you need to when you go into business. So you can imagine my slight disappointment when I saw Susan Cain extolling the virtues of being an introvert. Anyway, Julie, I de-extroverted myself, went back into my introverted shell, and I gave up the social media business that I now had that had become rather popular, the conference series I had that was quite popular, in order to become an introvert, and I became a church minister in Plymouth. Of course, this coincided with the exact same time that I came across Alexis Ohanian from Reddit talking about the power of social media to, you guess it, change the world. My luck was not going so well. You're picking up a bit of a theme here, of course. I can't begin to tell you about the time that I wasted obsessed with 4 a.m. in the morning because of Reeves' talk on the same subject. Or my peculiar penchant to use slightly provocative imageries in my church sermons. Or my temporary plans to become a firefighter. You see, I can't watch a TED Talk without being so inspired by the speaker that I go, yes, that is what we should do. We should all move to the Amazon. We should all speak in rhyme all the time and free verse and slam poetry. We should all hold our breath underwater for 17 minutes. You're lucky I didn't bring a brain out on stage today. Now, for a long time I thought this was just me, but actually as I began to talk to others, I realized that many people were having similar problems with being over-inspired by TED. And for those who weren't over-inspired by TED, they found that the TED speakers were so super inspiring that it made their lives pale in comparison, and as a result, they become greatly discouraged. Have you ever been discouraged by watching a TED Talk? Thank you for the honesty, and the others, you are liars. You see, I was too inspired, and so Ted and I had a breakup. Now, as I began to speak to others, I realized that, as I said, this was a bit of a perennial issue. And so I thought maybe we need to start handling inspiration with a little bit more responsibility. Maybe we need to be a bit more responsible about any inspiration that comes into our lives. Because normally, when something is inspiring and it has the ability to change us, we replace truth with truth. But I want to say to you, don't replace new truth. Don't replace new truth over your old truth. Don't throw away what you have learned in the light of something new. Instead, add truth to your truth. Add inspiration to your inspiration. Whenever you come across a new idea, a new way, a different lens, add truth to your truth. Or in my case, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater like I did when Brené Brown was talking about the power of vulnerability. And I decided that, yes, it would be great to be vulnerable. I love vulnerability. And so I thought, why don't I just throw out my entire emotional and mental health history out on Twitter for the whole entire world to see? Because that's being vulnerable. It's a great idea. Let's do it. Surprisingly, business went quiet after that. Don't replace truth with truth. Add truth to your truth. Let inspiration broaden your mind with possibility. Let it deepen your heart with empathy, but let it plant your feet in reality. Not my reality, not the speaker's reality, your now. And as for the slightly ironic subject of me delivering a TED Talk today, well, I won't be watching it. Thank you.